Good day and great health. Welcome back to another edition of your Lifeline of Vitality. Today on the podcast, how can two small bones affect the whole spine? How can a misalignment of two small bones at the top of the spine cause problems down the entire spinal column? There is an old Latin phrase, sic parvis magna, that translates to, from small things come great beginnings. The size or location of one thing doesn't determine or undermine its impact on larger, distant things. An upper cervical subluxation can start a chain reaction of compensations that affects the entire spinal column. The upper cervical spine is critical to the entire spinal column's structure and function. It influences biomechanical components and neurological sensors found throughout the spine. A balancing act exists between the cervical, thoracic, lumbar, and sacral sections of the spine. Looking at the spine from the side, there are two sets of complementary curves. A lordotic curve is in the cervical, a kyphotic curve is in the thoracic, a lordotic curve is in the lumbar, and another kyphotic curve is in the sacrum. These curves are similar to the shock absorbers in a car in that they help dissipate the force of gravity on the body as it moves and stands upright. If the cervical spine straightens out or becomes excessive, the other curves must compensate for this imbalance. This puts added stress on the entire spine. Quoting Renee Callette, MD, head in forward posture can add up to 30 pounds of abnormal leverage on the cervical spine. This can pull the entire spine out of alignment. Next, let's look at the spine from behind. Looking at the spine this way, there shouldn't be any curves or deviations when standing upright. What should be seen is a relatively straight line from the head down to the sacrum. This straight line requires constant communication between the upper cervical spine and the head to maintain equilibrium. This is no simple feat. To simplify the complexity between the head and spine, visualize 3 upside-down pyramids stacked on each other with an 8-pound bowling ball on top. The top pyramid represents the cervical spine and balances about 15 pounds, which includes the bowling ball. The middle pyramid represents the thoracic spine and balances about 120 pounds. The lowest pyramid represents the lumbar spine and balances around 180 pounds. What would happen if we tilt the top pyramid slightly? What do the bowling ball and middle pyramids need to do? They have to compensate by shifting off their normal center of gravity. With the bowling ball and middle pyramid now off balance, what does the bottom pyramid have to do? It has to compensate as well. A chain reaction occurs. With an upper cervical subluxation, stress is put on all aspects of the spine and head to stay upright. For example, every inch that the head doesn't balance over the body's center of gravity, it can increase the weight of the head by 10 pounds. If this stress is prolonged by an upper cervical subluxation, stability becomes compromised. Over time, instability creates weakness. Weakness over time creates injuries. Injuries over time causes degeneration. When an upper cervical subluxation is corrected, compensations can become proper adaptations. Degeneration is slowed down, injuries can heal better, the spine gets stronger and more stable. Adjusting the upper cervical spine does in fact produce great things when it comes to the health of the entire spine.